Good morning, all. It's an honor itself to honor this beautiful audience who has gathered over here on this online platform on occasion of national webinar. I, Assistant Professor Shivkanya Kadam, Coordinator of Women Cell, along with Dr. Malojrao Bhose, NSS Program Officer, and whole organizing committee, welcome you all on behalf of Government Institute of Forensic Science, Nagpur, for this national webinar on gender sensitization. The important task of introducing you all with topic and today's guest speaker is given to me. So our today's guest, Advocate Ragini Manikrao Kadam, she is going to deliver you a lecture on legal gender sensitization and its need in today's pandemic situations. So first of all, I will introduce her. Ragini Kadam, she born in the hometown of city of education, that is Ambajogai. She did her schooling and graduation from Yogeshwari Mahavidyalaya. She did her BSc from there. Thereafter, she graduated from Law College, Law College Latur, and pursued her legal education. After that, for masters, she joined the same college. And the most important thing is that at the time of graduation, she she achieved first rank in Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. After at the time of graduation, she took part in various moot court competitions and awarded with the first prize as well. After completion of the graduation and post graduation, she joined in the practice. She started her career at District and Sessions Court, Ambajogai. Not only in Ambajogai, she started her practicing, but all over Maharashtra, and mostly the all the districts of the Marathwada region she had covered. Her area of jurisdiction or her area of practice is mostly civil laws, family laws, domestic violence related cases, and the disputes relating to the civil laws. Most recently, she had awarded with the best woman advocate of the city, and that particular award was given on occasion of the Women's Day on 8th March 2020. So I heartily welcome ma'am, Advocate Ragini Kadam ma'am, for the sake of delivering the lecture on today's on occasion of today's national webinar. Welcome ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes. Is my voice is clear?
Yes. But ma'am, you are not visible. Yes, yes, now visible.
Okay.
Madam.
Am I audible to all?
You can start, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, all respected persons who are attending today's session. I hope all of you are taking good care of yourself and others in this pandemic. Be careful and be safe. Am I audible to all, madam? Is my voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Voice is clear.
All right. So I would like to start today's session with the Rig Veda's first ream translated in English. All those who are good towards come together, collectively light the fire of knowledge. Its scale multiplies eventually, resulting into prosperous, good life. Here the emphasis is on the value of knowledge. And I think knowledge we get either by study or by experience. And the knowledge gained by experience, we generally do not forget. So here is today's session arranged by respected Shivkanya Kadam madam and respected Bhosle sir and their entire team from Government Institute of Forensic Science, Nagpur, and have given me the opportunity to share with you what I have studied, what I have learned, what I have experienced. Today's topic for discussion for us is need of legal gender sensitization during pandemic. So for today's discussion, let's talk about and let's take a look of ancient time. When we talk about gender equality, during Vedic period, we experience cultural and civilized history. Rigveda gave equal respect to husband and wife. Rigveda, written by Gargi, and Maitreyi was recognized for her intellectual virtue. In Bhakti movement also, Janabai, Mirabai, Akka Mahadevi openly advocate social justice and equality. All these women, they stood out their own ways. Do we think Gender is any impediment in excellence? Definitely not. Despite women, they are great achievers. In spite of adverse situation, in spite of adverse condition I'm mentioning here because at that time all the facilities which are available today they were not, and the society also in great and adverse opposite society was opposing. In that condition, women excelled in different fields like politics, literature, education, religion. If we want to discuss the example, first that is Razia Sultana became only woman monarch to have ever ruled Delhi. We all know Jizabai, who was deputed as Queen Regent because of her ability as a warrior and administrator. A woman like Bhikaji Kama, Dr. Annie Besant, Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, Aruna Asaf Ali, Sucheta Kriplani, all these women, they played important part in India's independence struggle. Yes, of course, we are discussing about gender equality today. So how can we forget male reformers who have played vital role? First example we can take Rajaram Mohan Rai, who has abolished tradition of sati lawfully. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, who supported women education in Bengal. Literally, he went door to door and pursued people, send their girl child to school. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, who opened first school in India. Next is Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who emphasized for equal rights for women in every field. Not only in ancient time, now recently also, in the field of, in various fields. We can take example of even cricket, our Indian cricket team, that is women Indian cricket team. So many singers, dancers, Mary Kom, all these ladies, they have achieved a great. Not only this, but today's organizer, respected Shivkanya Kadam madam, she is very enthusiastic and always ready and interested to do new things. And even she made to other people also to do the same. But later on, after Manusmriti, women were restricted only to the home duties, matrimonial obligations. Only they were restricted to the extent of daily chores, only for baby production. She has never given equal status. We are discussing gender equality. So it is required. What is mean by gender equality? Gender equality means the establishment of women in respect of human values and rights that establish the same social, economical, and political status for women as for men. But practically, women were facing and still they are facing problems like offenses, offenses which are sexual offenses, matrimonial offenses, even child marriages, dowry death, dowry due to dowry, they are put on harassment, subjected to cruelty. But after independence, somewhat this scenario started to change. Our Indian Constitution guarantees Indian women equality, that is equality before law and equal protection of law. No discrimination on the ground of place of birth, religion, race, caste, even sex. Equality of opportunity, equal pay for equal work. It also allows special provision to be made by state in favor of women and children. Constitution renounced practices derogatory to the dignity of women and also allowed for provisions to be made by state securing just and human condition of work and for maternity relief. Constitution also included right to education into fundamental right as education became effective enabler of equity, a key to progress and development. Thereafter, legislation made several laws to overcome the social problems which the women were facing and for curbing down the gender inequality. The laws like Child Marriage Restraint Act. This enactment was made to save the female from the burden to manage marital obligations in the age in which she is not physically and mentally prepared for. Daughters are married. So it is mindset. When even we can just observe from the birth itself that what is the traditional barricades at the time of means जब daughter जब बेटी पैदा होती है बेटी पैदा होने से ही माइंड सेट हो जाता है घर वालों का पेरेंट्स का कि इसको लिखाना पढ़ाना होगा इसकी शादी करनी होगी इसको दहेज देना होगा तो व्हाट दे डू दे जस्ट perform her marriage in the age when she is not even physically or mentally prepared for. उसको पता भी नहीं होता है शादी के रस्म रिवाज obligations, marital obligations, responsibilities of in-laws. But we parent, what we think that let us discharge our responsibility from our shoulders and let be whatever with her in her in-laws house, that is matrimonial house, and parents they get relief after performance of marriage of their daughter. Therefore, but what happened due to this, due to performance of marriage of the daughters in the age when she is not physically and mentally fit to bear that responsibility. So society have experienced that such kind of marriages either during the delivery or after delivery, that girl child is not in a physical or mental status to live her normal life. And therefore, legislation has taken initiative to draft this law, Child Marriage Restraint Act, to prevent the female from overburdening, from taking responsibility and from marital obligations. When even we can just come over that when we are fit for accepting every responsibility, then it is easy for us to get through. And this has been accepted by the society and even legislation, and this enactment was enacted. Thereafter, Dowry Prohibition Act was enacted. As I have just said that after the birth of daughter, all parents are under consideration that we are going to perform her marriage and we are constrained to give dowry for the marriage of daughter. So this law, this act have enabled the parents of a girl child, they should not be constrained to give dowry for which they were considering a girl child as burden. And by this act, dowry taking and giving the dowry is an offense. Thereafter, the Prenatal Diagnosis Technique Act was enacted so that the father relatives will not try to detect whether female child or male child, and if female child, they should not be terminate the pregnancy. We people, we are very much eager and enthusiastic in creating the problem. Why I am telling this, creating the problem? Because legislation, they were just enacting the laws. Why for? Because society were showing, yes, this is the problem. They were just showing that this now is required to be considered. So when legislation enacted Child Marriage Restraint Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, then thereafter we person, we were doing, that it is very far, the question is very far, the performance of marriage, but we were not allowing to girl child to take a birth, and therefore this Prenatal Diagnosis Technique Act was enacted. Because we people, what we were doing, that we were terminating the pregnancy after detecting that there is a fetus of girl child, and therefore this act was enacted. Thereafter, Termination of Pregnancy Act is also available in our country, because if fetus is having any physical problem, if there is a problem of growth of fetus, then definitely it will be a dangerous to the life of a mother. Therefore, termination of pregnancy is necessary, and for that purpose, Termination of Pregnancy Act has been enacted, just to save the life of a mother who is going to give the birth to a child, and there is a problem in the birth of that child. Now we can observe, even though Dowry Prohibition Act was enacted, but the cases were not being reported in that regard. So provision under Indian Penal Code was introduced, as we all advocates, we know about section 304B for dowry death. Before that, provision for cruelty on woman for demand of dowry was introduced in Indian Penal Code as section 498A, so as to restrain husband and his relatives from treating a woman with cruelty. In our society, these problems were going on, that after birth of girl child, either terminate her birth before birth of girl child, when detection that there is a girl child, then there was termination of pregnancy, means people were not allowing to take birth to a girl child. afterwards, okay, if girl child take a birth, because child everybody wanted, and if that is girl child, then thereafter, after spending expenditure for her education and everything, after bringing up, at the time of performance of her marriage, dowry was required to be given. Therefore, after sending that daughter to in-laws house, now their role begins. So if dowry is sufficient, again greed of that dowry, and if dowry is not sufficient, then recovery of dowry, for recovery of dowry, the cruelty was committed for demanding dowry, and that cruelty was increased to the level and harassment to the daughter-in-law to the such extent that she was feeling that I should not live on this earth. And that offense we know in Indian Penal Code, that is abatement of suicide. They were harassing to that daughter-in-law in such a way that she will constrain to commit a suicide. And therefore, these two provisions under Indian Penal Code were introduced, which I have just mentioned, that is section 498A and section 304B for dowry death. Some friends who are advocates have been joined for today's session. So for their curiosity, I will just make it clear here, because in our mind, so many doubts are there. Why? For that, under Indian Penal Code, already section 302 was available for murder, and for murder we know the punishment, even death penalty also can be imposed. Then question arises, why this section 304B was introduced separately for dowry death. So under section 304B, it is required, parameters are laid down that the cruelty should be, means the daughter-in-law should be subjected to cruelty soon before her death for demand of dowry. That death should be natural death, and the in-laws, where the in-laws have subjected to daughter-in-law with cruelty just soon before her death. If all these parameters, all these necessary requirements will be fulfilled, then under section 304B, presumption is there. Presumption is provided for the court, that presumption is shall presume. So if the requirements which I just narrated have been completed, have been fulfilled by the prosecution, then court will presume, court shall presume that the offense has been committed by the husband and in-laws, and entire burden will shift on the accused and defense side. So what is difference in that? Under section 302 of Indian Penal Code, the entire burden is on the prosecution, and we know the principle of criminal jurisprudence, that prosecution should prove his case beyond all reasonable doubt. So entire burden is on the shoulder of prosecution. So there should not be any lacunas, there should not be any doubt, there should not be any defect for proving the entire case by the prosecution. Defense maybe defense is defenseless, but entire burden is to be discharged by the prosecution under section 302 of Indian Penal Code, and then the offense of murder will be proved, and then punishment will be imposed accordingly. But after introduction of this section 304B in Indian Penal Code, after fulfillment of basic requirements, the burden shifts on the defense side, on the accused, that now you prove your innocence. So legislation is always trying for providing measures to the problems which the society creates. And day by day, we are getting success to overcome to some extent. Now, afterwards, it was observed by lawmakers that all these are extreme position, means cruelty, then in-laws are subjecting to the to cruelty to the this daughter-in-laws. They are inspiring her to commit suicide. They are allowing her death by allowing poison or strangulation, etc. Means all the modes by which her life will come to an end, and in-laws will be free to perform their son's again second marriage, and so that they will also in a position to accept the dowry. So lawmakers have observed that all these are extreme point, but where is the basic point from which all this started, all this start? And the philosophers, the lawmakers, and those who are studying the society, they have just come across that these things start from first from comments. Which kind of comments? अभी शादी के बाद जब बहू घर में आती है तो ताने कौन से हैं हमको बताने की जरूरत नहीं, हम उसके बारे में बहुत ही वेल अवेयर है. Now in-laws, in their mind it is said that our daughter-in-law has not brought sufficient dowry, therefore now let us start harassing her so that she will be fed up with and take some steps for bringing dowry, because she also want to get rid of from everything. So first comments will start from in-laws, then okay, our daughter-in-law is very tolerating, सब बर्दाश्त कर लेती है, then start assaulting her. Assault for demand of dowry. Even assault also she is bearing, वो भी बर्दाश्त कर रही है वो. Then start severe harassment. So severe harassment, in movies we have seen that like सास like ललिता पवार, उसको कुछ गरम पानी में हाथ डालना, गरम चीज़ों से उसको कांटेक्ट में लाना, घर में उसके लिए काम बढ़ा कर रखना, और वो काम बढ़ाने के लिए उसी को रिस्पॉन्सिबल ठहराकर उसको फिर तकलीफ देना. So all these were observed by lawmakers, and they understood that it should be stopped at initial stage. and therefore Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 was enacted. And this Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act includes physical, mental, economical, all kind of violence. And this act, due to this act, Women Redressal Forum was established. Special units for helping a woman were established. Shelter homes for giving shelter, for arranging the residence for women were established. After assault or after harassment on woman, for her first aid, for giving treatment to her, for healing her physical wounds, healthcare centers were established. By this act, the choice was given to woman that what kind of relief she wants. By this act, even women can claim for justice with relations. I will just explain this statement which I have just mentioned. She can claim for justice with relations. So, under Domestic Violence Act, when Domestic Violence Act committed on any woman, at that time, she is not only physically but mentally disturbed. So at that time, what is needed for her is mental support. So NGOs and all these rehabilitating centers, they do that. Healthcare centers, they provide first aid to that woman. Shelter homes, they provide residence for her. But after overcoming all these things, she, if she want, because we know that women are made in our society that they forgive everything. They are having that strength. Nature has given the strength to fight with and to tolerate, to give up and to forgive everything to the woman. And therefore, if a woman who has undergone all these circumstances, if she want that she be accepted by in-laws, her family, her matrimonial family back, then that option is also available for her. And also this act provides each and every relief to a woman, that is for her maintenance, monthly expenses. Maintenance is provided to a woman to manage her day-to-day basic needs for her livelihood. For livelihood of her children. Custody of children is provided under this act. All the civil proceeding she can initiate it. She can initiate with the help of provisions under this act, because this act is quasi civil and quasi criminal. Means civil laws also we can take help, and criminal laws also we can take help at the time of taking help under this act. All these were going on and still it is going on for giving support, for helping the women. to deal with the problems which she is facing day to day life. Not only this, but judicial system has also taken initiative and declared several laws to provide measures for offenses against women. Some of examples we will discuss here today. In Vishakha's case, Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan, in 1997, Honorable Apex Court implemented in protection of women at workplace. Not only in-laws house, but women are now working women, and at professional level also they are facing so many things which are hurdles for her normal behavior. We women advocate, we face at the time of practicing in court of law so many times humiliation, domination by so many persons, so many male persons, by senior advocates, by colleagues. Even we experience that our clients, they observe our talent, but not ready to hand over their brief. Only why? Because advocate is a woman advocate. Even clients observe that though she is a woman, she is very good at her academic. Her way of work is also good. She is getting good orders from court. She is convincing the court, but still in their mind that she is an woman advocate and she will be less. She will not be able what the main advocates will do for getting success in the matter. So not only in our profession, in teaching profession, medical profession, all kinds of profession, when women are facing all these problems, so many times woman is dominated by her senior authority, which under which she is working. And all those women who are resisting this, who are raising their voice against this, then of course we know comments that a woman is very arrogant. Why for? Because that woman has raised the voice. At a time, woman is doing all the task. She is convincing to her family member to allow her to go outside for work. She is preparing for work. She is managing daily chores at house. She is preparing herself mentally for every experience we just have mentioned. And even then, the matter like Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan occurred, and our Honorable Apex Court constrained to interfere in this and laid down the guidelines for the women who are working outside. So what guidelines are given by this case by Honorable Apex Court, that when women already constitution have provided equal pay for a woman, even everywhere the work hours are fixed for women. So after sunset, she will not be allowed for work, and before sunrise. So whenever any woman is under impression that she is going to face some difficulty, then she can report about that incidents. Straight away she can file report, complaint in police station, and accordingly the matter will be investigated by the police. She can directly take a recourse of court of law. She can go directly in court and file her complaint in writing, and accordingly the direction will be issued for investigation of that offense. But the basic aspect is that everything is provided by legislation, even judicial systems. But what is now for the woman, that get the avail the opportunities which are available for them. Unless woman will not resist, unless woman will not take help of all these recourses which are made available for her to overcome all these difficulties, unless woman will not take a step, the difficulties will not automatically overcome. Next, judicial initiative in Saira Banu's case in 2017, Honorable Apex Court held triple talaq as unconstitutional. In Joseph Shine's case in 2019, Honorable Apex Court held offense of adultery under Indian Penal Code as unconstitutional. In both these cases, Supreme Court applied doctrine of manifest arbitrariness. It means that if statutory provisions violate Article 14, that is equality before law, then the Honorable Apex Court can hold that particular provision as unconstitutional just to enable equality. Next example we can take by Honorable Bombay High Court. Bombay High Court given permission for entry of women in temple at various places, because entry of women in several temples were banned, prohibited. So in the year 2016, Honorable Bombay High Court given permission for entry of women in temple like Shani Shingnapur temple, Haji Ali Dargah, and prohibited its ban. Even Honorable Supreme Court given permission of entry of women in Sabarmala temple, and at that time it was submitted before Supreme Court that by senior counsel that this is a religion, this is a custom. And what custom? That women are not permitted in certain temples. On this, Honorable Supreme Court said that unless Constitution permit prohibition, no religion can prohibit as Constitution regulate it. Religion only manage its affairs. I will repeat this sentence which the Honorable Supreme Court have stated at the time of giving permission of entry of women in Sabarmala temple. What the Honorable Supreme Court said, unless Constitution permit prohibition, no religion can prohibit entry of women in temples. Why for? As the Constitution regulated, religion only manages its affairs. Now question arises that laws are available there. Yes, laws are required to be enforced to stop commission of offenses against women. Even laws made so many amendments in provisions. Law made so many stringent provisions in penal laws to minimize, to decrease the offenses. But practically, we have not achieved what was the purpose behind enacting all these laws. Even we can experience day by day, there is an increase in the offenses against women. And some part of this question which have arisen, some part of answer we find in today's topic. That is today's topic, the need of legal gender sensitization in pandemic. Due to this situation, family gathering is there. All members are available in the house. So husband is also available, wife is also available in the house. Children are also there. Now, definitely after this situation, when everything will be normal, definitely we can ensure one thing, that the matters regarding domestic violence will be increased. So we can predict today that when our court of law will be regularized, regular sittings of judges will be started, then definitely they are going to entertain all kind of domestic violence matters. So now what problem we are facing during this pandemic situation, that at least for reason of work, male were outside the house, and for that time at least women were relaxed. Now we should not interpret get this sentence wrong. Women were relaxed at the home when men were outside. Means there was wisdom for them. There is a difference. I will just mention here that there is difference between freedom and wisdom. Because so many men are complaining about that all laws are available for women only. And so many men are raising voice that now it is the time that legislation should focus on men also and enact some laws for protection of men. So we are, this is not the fight of men against women. This is the fight against tendency which dominate women, which harass women, which ill-treat women. I want to ask one question to those men who are saying that now men are in danger and protection is required for them. I want to ask one question by this medium, that have you experienced a single incident where a man has been humiliated by women? A man has been physically molested by women? Have you experienced an incident that a woman have compelled any man to commit suicide? These are very extreme points. Have we till today in our society have experienced that a woman have demanded dowry from men, that I am going to manage your entire house, I am going to manage entire responsibility of your family, because in-laws, they are your parents, sister and daughters, they are sister and brothers. I am managing their daily chores, I am doing everything for them, I am providing everything for them. So I want now dowry from you for doing all this work. Have any single incidents we have experienced? Not only men, women also. If all these questions which I have asked just now, if a single question, if a single member of the society, maybe woman or maybe men, will answer in positive that yes, one incident that woman has humiliated men, woman has molested men, then men can demand such kind of enactments, such kind of acts to be enacted for their protection. Definitely now this is the time, because so many legislation, judicial initiatives, they are doing their work. But if we make this self analysis today, that whether it is required, definitely we will get answer. And all these men who are demanding for their protection, the acts to be enacted, will definitely think over it and will definitely admit that yes, the laws are required for women, for bringing them in the flow of the society, so that they will be treated equally to with the men. Now I just have mentioned in the beginning that there are traditional barriers since from the birth of the child. It is mindset in our society. Now all entire family is at home in this situation, pandemic situation. So we can observe, what we can observe, that at the time of birth of a child, mind is set. When a child take birth, then first question arises in the mind of the relatives, parents that who, if child is boy, then it is mindset, आ गया अपना वंश चलाने वाला, अपने स्वर्ग के द्वार हमारे लिए अभी खुल गए, बिकॉज वो हमारे 4 पीढ़ी का उद्धार करने वाला है। हमारे मरने के बाद वो हमारे अस्थि विसर्जन करने वाला है, अग्नि देने वाला है। सबसे बड़ी बात, वो हमको संभालने वाला है जब हम बूढ़े हो जाएंगे। Those parents who are thinking in that their mind after the birth of boy child, let me tell you, and let me actually share one experience which I have come across at the time of practicing in court of law. I will narrate this experience in Hindi actually, so that everybody should English everybody understand, I know that, but Hindi they will just give their entire concentration, and they will just understand why I am sharing this experience with you. And this incident is related, just now I have said that after the birth of boy, what came in the mind of parent, that बुढ़ापे में हमको ये संभालने वाला है। Then why, अगर ऐसा है तो वृद्धाश्रम क्यों है? फुल वृद्धाश्रम अभी फुल है, क्यों है? So one matter was there. एक औरत, उनका नाम है मथुरा देवी। She is 78 years old, and she filed a matter in the court of law for claiming maintenance from his own sons. One of the son is a retired army officer, and one of the son is doing farm work. He is a farmer. So who is army officer, retired army officer? He was regularly depositing maintenance for his mother, but son who is farmer was not depositing maintenance amount for maintenance of his mother. Now it is my request to all of you that please listen carefully. This case, it is not of only maintenance. It is the case of a mother who is claiming maintenance from his own sons. So, after completion of procedure, that son was brought one day in the court because he was trying to escape. He was not accepting summons warrant issued by court, and he was not appearing in the court even though maintenance arrears were due on him. But after our efforts, he was brought in the court of law before the court. So mother and son, they were facing each other. At that time, जज ने मुझसे पूछा, I was representing that mother who is 78 years of old. जज ने मुझसे पूछा, मैडम व्हाट टू डू, व्हाट इज योर केस, यस सबमिट योर केस. So at that time I requested to that judge that please allow that mother to speak something, to speak what she want. And on my request, judge has allowed that woman, that mother, to talk about her grief, we can say, sorrow we can say. And she said, साहब, इस मेरे बेटे ने मुझे इतना परेशान कर दिया है, इसने मुझे इस बुरी तरह से मेरे साथ व्यवहार किया है. आज मैं मदर होते हुए, एक माँ होते हुए मेरे बेटे को कोर्ट में लाई हूँ. इसका जिम्मेदार वो खुद है. And on that son was making submission before the court that see how kind of mother she is, कैसी माँ है मेरी, मुझे कोर्ट में लाया है इसने. So at that time judge asked me one thing, and what I have submitted before the court, that is important. I said, सर, जब ये माँ अपने बेटे को बड़ा कर रही थी, जब इसने बेटे को जन्म दिया, जब इसके बेटा छोटा था, जब उसको चलना भी नहीं आता था, जब वो छोटा था, उसके सारे काम उसकी गंदगी उठाना, ये सब काम करते समय ये माँ ने उसको ये नहीं बोला था कि जाओ कोर्ट से ऑर्डर लेकर आओ तभी मैं ये सब करूंगी. Then why this son, when अभी उसी माँ को संभालने की जब इस बेटे की बारी आई, जब उस माँ को अभी इस बेटे का सहारा चाहिए, साथ चाहिए, तो ये तो बात वही हो गई, सर जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेकर आओ, यही हो गया. तो बेटा क्या बोल रहा है, जाओ पहले उस जज का ऑर्डर लेकर आओ, then I will provide maintenance for you. So I submitted that at the time of upbringing of that child, mother has not asked that first you bring order from the court, then in her olden age, son has constrained to her to come in the court of law and asking the order for providing maintenance to her. So on my say that mother was crying in the court of law, mother, वो माँ ने ऐसा बोला जज को कि yes sir, this is my intention, यही मैं चाहती थी, मेरे बेटे से मुझे पैसा नहीं चाहिए, मैं अभी भी खुद काम कर मेरा पेट पाल सकती हूँ, मैं खुद अपना गुजारा कर सकती हूँ, लेकिन मुझे यही अपने बेटे को समझाना था जो आज इस बच्ची ने आपके सामने रखा. I was talking those sentences, but that was provided by that mother to me, because those words were mine, but the feelings was of that mother. After listening only those two sentences, judge has passed order, and that son was sent to imprisonment. But again, I have to mention here, I should not forget to mention here that जैसे कृष्ण ने बोला है, कृष्ण कहते हैं व्हाट इज जस्टिस, न्याय क्या है? जिस व्यक्ति पर अन्याय होता है उस व्यक्ति की आस्था, उसका विश्वास टूट जाता है, और जो व्यक्ति अन्याय करता है उसका अहंकार बढ़ जाता है। तो न्याय क्या है? जिस व्यक्ति पर अन्याय हुआ है, जिसका विश्वास टूटा है, उसका विश्वास फिर से वापस आए, और जिसने अन्याय किया है उसका अहंकार टूट जाए। That means both the parties should restore to their original position. This is justice. So which incidents I have just narrated, after passing order by the judge, after passing order for sending her that son in imprisonment, that son also realized, when I uttered those two sentences, after listening those two sentences, that son also realized that yes, this is right. When my mother was upbringing me, at that time she has not asked the order from the court, but now it is my turn. And this realization, I felt justice in the terms of what Krishna says. So I was on that point that after birth of child, our mind is set. If that child is girl, then our mind is set that we have to bear the expenses for her education, thereafter perform the marriage. At that time we have to support financially, and the daughter, that girl child, will go in another house. This is mindset. But we are forgetting, हम भूल क्यों जाते हैं? लड़की दोनों घरों के लिए, दोनों घरों का उद्धार करने वाली है, दोनों घरों को रोशन करने वाली है। बेटा तो एक ही घर को रोशन करेगा, लेकिन बेटी तो दोनों घरों को रोशन करने वाली है। And after going to matrimonial house, the entire credit, what she is going to give to whom? Her parents. तो आपका ही नाम वहां आने वाला है। So many incidences we have just experienced in our society, that girl child, women have made their parents proud by their behavior, by their achievements, by their work, by discharging their duties in society. Now, उसके आगे हम बढ़ते हैं। बॉय का जब बेटे का जन्म होता है तो उसके बाद उसको खिलौना दिया जाता है, गन, कार, माइंड इज सेट। और गर्ल्स को दिया जाता है किचन सेट, डॉल, गूंगी गुड़िया, खामोश बैठे रहो, कुछ बोलना मत। Now we can observe in our family, in this situation all members are available in the house. अभी जो पेरेंट्स हैं mother and father, even mothers, they play active role in it. क्या अनुभव मिलता है हमको घर में? लड़की है, लड़का है, भाई है, बहन है, लड़की को सब सिखाया जाता है, शांत रहना, ज्यादा बात नहीं करना, दूसरे के घर जाना है, सैक्रिफाइस, भाई को खाने दे, इतना ही बचा था। लड़के के लिए, फॉर बॉय, he is required to be strong physically and mentally because he is to manage the entire house. And लड़की के लिए कुछ नहीं, nothing is required for you. So be patience, have patience, tolerance, everything is taught to girl child. ये भाई भी ऑब्जर्व करता है, ये वो भाई जो है वो ऑब्जर्व करता है बहन के साथ कैसा व्यवहार है घर में, किससे? माँ बाप से. एंड द डिस्क्रिमिनेशन स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द फैमिली इटसेल्फ, फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड. Mother is knowing that a girl child, she also required to be strong physically and mentally, but diet food, healthy food is not provided to girl child. Why? Because it is not available sufficient, therefore it should be provided to the boy, not the girl. घर में शोर मचाकर भैया हर वो चीज मनवा लेता है जो उसको चाहिए, बट बहन खामोश, अलाउड ही नहीं है, परमिशन ही नहीं है उसको. एंड माइंड इज सेट, हर माइंड इज ऑल्सो सेट बाय द पेरेंट्स. तुम्हें दूसरे के घर जाना है, सो लर्न दिस टॉलरेंस, लर्न दिस सैक्रिफाइस. एवरीथिंग इज टॉट इन द फैमिली इटसेल्फ. वो भाई सब ये ऑब्जर्व करता है दैट, एंड उसका माइंड सेट हो जाता है दैट गर्ल्स आर ऑलवेज in need of control by male. Female is always, because what he is observing that before marriage girl is controlled by father, after marriage woman is controlled by husband, and in older age mother is controlled by son. This is the observation in family itself. So how that boy will behave, in what manner? We are teaching him. We are making him to think in this way that female are not having independent thinking. They are not having any freedom, any wisdom, nothing. And therefore, they are supposed to be always controlled. They are supposed to be always dominated by a male person. This is the teaching given in the family itself. भाई बहन का अगर झगड़ा होता है तो किसको डांटते हैं? और अगर भाई कभी रोता है तो हम क्या बोलते हैं उसको, क्या लड़की की तरह रोता है तू, बी अ मैन। डायलॉग इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल, दैट मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता। Now it should be amended. This dialogue is required to be amended now. That मर्द वही है जिसको दर्द होता है। कौन सा दर्द? दूसरों की तकलीफ का दर्द, दूसरों के दुख का दर्द। It is very obvious and it is very simple thing that who is the person is strong when he realizes another's grief, another's sorrow. हम किसको स्ट्रॉन्ग बोलेंगे? जो दूसरों की तकलीफ दूर करता है, जो दूसरों की डिफिकल्टी में काम आता है, डिफिकल्टी दूर करता है, दूसरों के हेल्प करता है, दूसरों को परेशानी से बाहर निकालता है, इनको हम स्ट्रॉन्ग बोलेंगे ना। या उनको स्ट्रॉन्ग बोलेंगे जो तकलीफ देता है, जो परेशानी में डालता है, जो डिफिकल्टीज पैदा करता है, इसको स्ट्रॉन्ग बोलेंगे? डेफिनेटली नॉट। इतना तो हर कोई बोल सकता है, सोसाइटी का हर मेंबर, वेदर ही इज एजुकेटेड और अनएजुकेटेड, इतना तो सभी बोल सकते हैं कि स्ट्रॉन्ग, हु इज द स्ट्रॉन्ग? स्ट्रॉन्ग पर्सन किसको बोलेंगे हम? So I think everybody will be agreed with me that this dialogue is required to be amended now. उसी मर्द को दर्द होता है जो स्ट्रॉन्ग है, मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता। ये डायलॉग अभी हमको अमेंड करना पड़ेगा। जिसको दर्द होता है दूसरों की तकलीफ से, जिसको दर्द होता है दूसरों की परेशानी से, वही मर्द है। So in the beginning I have just stated that this is not the fight of men against women. This is the fight against the tendency. What kind of tendency? Tendency of dominating, tendency of creating troubles for others, tendency of creating difficulties for others. Women also are responsible for this scenario which we are facing today. How? अगर दामाद कुछ काम करता है, दामाद जमाई, तो हमारी मदर क्या बोलती है? मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा दामाद मिला है, वो मेरी बेटी की बहुत ख्याल रखता है, उसके हर काम में मदद करता है। अभी पिक्चर उल्टा हो गया, उसका खुद का बेटा अगर बहू को हेल्प करता है तो हम क्या बोलते हैं? वही माँ क्या बोलती है? शी कैन नॉट एक्सेप्ट इट। easily can she accept this, even today's situation? Why not? Same person, same woman, लेकिन लॉज अलग अलग है। बेटी के लिए अलग, बहू के लिए अलग। So we are promoting this, we are promoting this tendency because हम औरतों ने मान लिया है कि औरतों का जन्म इसीलिए है, दूसरों की सेवा करना, दूसरों के लिए जीना, दूसरों के लिए ये सब, everything is for others. This is very wrong concept actually we are keeping in mind. Everybody, this birth is given by the God for herself and himself, for yourself. हमको वो स्टोरी पता है ना, बंदरिया के मुंह तक जब पानी आता है तो खुद के बच्चे को नीचे रखकर ऊपर चढ़ जाती है, खुद का जिंदगी बचाने के लिए, राइट? if this birth is for other, then why she tried to save her life? So life is given for individual, for itself. So I was just on that point that we have to keep in mind why these laws are not that much successful for what the purpose was, because the reason is found in the family itself. In the last 5 minutes, I will just conclude that कृष्ण कहते हैं माता पिता को कि माता पिता अपनी बच्चों को देना चाहते हैं हर संसार का हर सुख. So what you give? माता पिता अपने बच्चों को संपत्ति वगैरह, संपत्ति है, प्रॉपर्टी, सब सब देना चाहते हैं और हर खुशी देना चाहते हैं, लेकिन देते हैं क्या? आशा, आकांक्षा और जो भी उनका एक्सपीरियंस है वो धरोहर में दे देते हैं. So we made to a boy child to set his mind at the time of behavior with girl. In the conclusion, I will just quote one was written by a writer, Patterson, that women are the shoulder of country. If we try to wipe out them, you will see whole country collapsing them down. One more thing, at the conclusion, one more thing I would like to mention here. Today we have discussed about the equality, gender equality. So I have just narrated the incidences where the women have achieved. I should not forget those incidences to mention here when a men have supported their wife, their sister, their daughters in the achieving their ambition. And जैसे मैंने बोला था कि some men's they are claiming, they are demanding for protection of men, protection, their protection, some enactments. So for those men, I want to say this, that even through this medium today, I want to suggest, even my strong suggestion is that we are celebrating Women's Day. Those men who have helped women in their work to come forward, we should celebrate Men's Day also, and we should felicitate those men who have supported women, so that other men, they will get encouragement from them, and some, हम बोलते हैं ना, सबक मिलता है एक दूसरे से, so that kind of. So at last I will conclude with the sentence that if we want good sustainable society, then we should treat female and male equally. I think I have consumed so much time.
Oh, ma'am.
But this topic is having so much scope Therefore, I could not even focus on time. So sorry for that. And organizers, who they have given me opportunity to share my experiences through this medium. I am very grateful and thankful to them. Thank you. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. As Bhosle sir, who is co-organizer with me, he had gone for some technical work. So this responsibility of delivering vote of thanks is also come upon my shoulder. So I am very much thankful to our respected director sir, Dr. R.G. Atran sir, for giving us an opportunity to organize such a wonderful event. I am also grateful to respected Advocate Ragini Kadam madam to deliver such an informative lecture on gender sensitization and giving us her valuable time for this event. I am also indebted to all my beloved students and all the participants to spare their valuable time and patient listening. Lastly, but not the least, I owe my gratitude to the technical committee in charge, Dr. Arjun Mane sir and Shrikant Korke sir for their guidance. With this, with the kind permission of our director sir and chairman of the event, I call upon end of this meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much.